Maryland seemingly wants to put money ahead of safety. Maryland seemingly wants to put money ahead of safety. Why do I say that? Larry Hogan, governor of Maryland, is calling on schools to return to hybrid learning by March. What's going on? It's your man, Don McKay. Of course, RadioFire.com, the Don McKay Show.com. And what is very surprising to me, Hogan is a cancer survivor, right? Somebody who has had to deal with, health issues and health concerns. He just recently had a surgery related to his cancer. Why am I bringing that up? Because the governor, the governor that some people seem to like, right, is calling for these school systems in Maryland to return. Governor is pressing the school districts to make a plan to return to in-person instruction, saying that it's safe and important to stop learning loss. All right, we are in the middle of a pandemic. So the governor, he's proclaiming that it's safe. If that's the case, then why are the restaurants so restricted? Why is everything so jammed up? Why does airports look like they look? It's not safe. We're in a pandemic. We are in a pandemic. If you're in your car, you're driving in your car, and you're about to get on the freeway, and your fuel light is on, and you can see that there's traffic on the freeway, would you get on the freeway without refilling? No. You wouldn't take that chance, right? But Maryland's governor and others want us to take chances with our children? You wouldn't take this chance with your vehicle. Doesn't make sense. But the state school superintendent, Karen Salmon, said that the impact of closed schools on students who have been, she's talking about the impact and this mindset that protecting people from a virus that we don't know that much about, the fact that they don't want the protection of them, just let them go ahead back. So either you are lying about something, because you can't just send them back if we're still in the middle of the pandemic, and then out the other side of your mouth say that it's okay, it's no problem. You can't do that to people. And then when you say that the people who are affected disproportionately by this are poor people, black people, brown people, other people, so you're just throwing them to the wolves. You're saying that people in those communities are expendable. You don't care because you want money. Is that why? Yes, we want kids back in school. But because we want them back in school doesn't mean you just send them back willy-nilly. So we talk about the school system. The governor said that the schools are prepared to handle this. They're equipped. Schools can't even keep the heat on. Schools can't even barely keep toilet tissue in the bathrooms. But they're supposed to be able to handle our children in the midst of a pandemic? It's been almost a year. There hasn't been any safety measures done in the schools. Schools are the same way they were back in March when the kids left. There hasn't been any improvements in the schools. But the governor wants you to believe, and people that think like this, that schools are safe. They're not safe. We can't take our kids to eating Chuck E. Cheese because it's not safe, right? But they can just go to school. Doesn't make sense, right? Does not make sense. Not to a sane person. And I understand you want kids back in school. And I understand that some kids learn better in school. But let's not be under some misconception that because that is the fact, and because some parents are stressed out because their kids are home, that means that it is time to send these kids back to school. You send kids back to school, parents are going to be coming to school. They're going to be coming in contact with other adults. Bare minimum, kids are going to be transmitting viral loads. Bare minimum. Kids haven't been wearing their masks in the house, right? So now you're going to try to get this whole regimen of them wearing the mask in school. And the same amount of teachers that they had initially with a lot more responsibility. Very interesting. We put out there as our question of the day, is it time to send our kids to school for in-person learning? And I got some interesting comments. One said that mine won't be going. Other one says, no, I will take her out of the public school system to homeschool before anyone forces her to go back. That one from Angie Winder. But everybody was not of that mindset. Some people said that they think that the kids are not learning at home. All right. Another person said that they're not sending theirs, and another person said the kids won't be returning. There's no logical plan in place. Many Republicans rather, have this mindset that they don't want the government to tell them stuff, right? And you saw the impact of that, how the debacle is with the coronavirus, and how the former president, number 45, handled it, right? This is the states, you can figure it out, right? The vaccine process has been severely fumbled because there was no federal guidance as to what to do. And in the same screwed up mindset, Governor Larry Hogan is saying, schools, come up with a plan, let me know. There's no, this way, when it's completely screwed up, the governor can say, oh, well, the schools did that. Same thing that the former president does. Oh, well, the state screwed it up, right? It's this passing of the buck, and we're talking about our children. And I know that many of you are eager to have your kids back in school. But are you willing to let the government just make these type of rash decisions? And I know it's been a year, but there are too many unanswered questions with regards to this COVID-19 pandemic. They have a vaccine that they don't know so many things about because it's still early. And just because you're ready mentally to have the kids back in school, that does not mean physically we are ready to have the kids back in school, especially without a plan. I mean, they've had a year to come up with something, right? We can go out and go to Walmart and do some shopping. You're able to go to different places, and there are things in place, wear your mask, stay away from each other. But we're talking about children. The schools, how the schools going to be safe without any proper protocol? Right? I like to know about the proper protocols in schools that cannot keep the heat working in the wintertime and have to close when it gets too hot outside. This is This is the system that's supposed to be able to take care of the kids. It's not time yet. It's too soon. It's like you're ready to get somewhere, but it's just not time to get in the car yet. You don't have a car. Car is broken. A lot of things. Just because you want to doesn't mean that we're able to do that. It's been almost a year, and they haven't done anything to make schools safe. Right? And they've had a lot of time to work on safe solutions. One nurse reported that our children's hospital, which up to last week had very low numbers, now has 32 kids in ICU with coronavirus. This push to reopen schools is based on money, not on safety. This is very shameful. With a straight face, Governor Larry Hogan said that schools have the infrastructure to do it. Yeah, right. Schools do not have the infrastructure. And the states don't really have the infrastructure. The vaccine rollout has been a disaster. All right? Context is important here. So the governor, in the midst of a pandemic that's killed over 400,000 Americans, says that there's no public health reason to keep kids out of school. If there's no public health reason to keep kids out of school, why are all the restaurants closed, or you can only have like 5 people in there? Why are the strip clubs closed? Why the hookah lounges closed? If there's no public health reason to keep students out of schools, then why isn't everything just open then? It's not open because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And just because y'all tried to wait it out, doesn't mean that it's time to push everything back. If that's the case, right, these kids aren't even vaccinated, right? Because the vaccine doesn't even work on kids, or you don't know the effect of kids. Why are people even taking the vaccine then? If there's no public health reason to keep kids out of schools. As I said, evidence that poor, sick people of color are mostly affected is a big part of why the people that are talking about sending kids back to school are saying it. Because they feel that those parts of the population are expendable. It is shameful. Very, very shameful. Maryland is actually starting to put pressure on teachers to risk their lives. Let's talk about the teachers. They're adults, right? Risk their lives daily or face financial consequences. This is not the answer. We need to come up with a plan. Now, if the governor lays out and Superintendent Salmon lays out what we're going to do, these are the steps we've taken, right? Then maybe. But it's not, we're not there yet. Schools are not ready for this. But there are going to be press conferences. You're going to have people in power telling you that it's time to go. So the Biden administration has announced plans for $130 billion for schools, retrofit. We're a year behind the curve. Once again, I could see if something had actually been done in the almost year to make schools safer. But that, sadly, is not the case. The messaging on coronavirus, COVID-19, has been very inconsistent. This has the potential to blow up in the face of anybody who's pushing for kids to go back to school. Because many districts outside of Maryland have tried to send kids back to school and had to stop for in-person learning. This is not the way. This is not the way. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire.